Hi readers, welcome back to my channel, Lila Wanders and Reads. Lee here, and welcome to Women's History Month, a book haul. I apologize, I've had a cold for the last week and it is kicking my ass. So I meant to do something more profound for this week for Women's History Month, but I just don't have the energy. What I am talking about are some very diverse books. All written by and about women, mostly, and 3 of them I found via another booktuber's channel, and I hesitated on if I wanted to share them, but the more people who know about good books, the better. We'll start with, so these books are set in Israel, Palestine, Syria, and Iran. And I love reading books about different places and different times because it helps me learn more about the world. But we'll start with The Book of Disappearance by Ibtisam Azim. And I ordered this, I can't remember, I think bookshop.org is where I ordered this from. I'll put a link in the description box. I think this is on the long list for the International Booker Prize, but don't quote me on that. Very interesting premise here. What if all the Palestinians in Israel disappeared one day? What would happen next? How would Israelis react? These unsettling questions are posed in Azim's powerfully imaginative novel. Set in contemporary Tel Aviv and Jaffa 48 hours after Israelis discover all their Palestinian neighbors have vanished, the story unfolds through alternating narrators. Allah, a young Palestinian man who converses with his dead grandmother in the journal he left behind when he disappeared, and his Jewish neighbor Ariel, a journalist struggling to understand the traumatic event. Through these perspectives, the novel stages a confrontation between 2 memories. Ariel is a liberal Zionist who is critical of the military occupation of West Bank and Gaza, but nevertheless believes in Israel's project and its national myth. Allah is haunted by his grandmother's memories of being displaced from Jaffa and becoming a refugee in her homeland. Ariel's search for clues to the secret of the collective disappearance and his reaction to it intimately reveal the fissures at the heart of the Palestinian question. This first edition 2019, so it can't be International Booker Prize, is it? Or maybe it's the translated version. I don't remember. I should have done my research before I started this video. Anywho, I do look forward to reading this. I saw another review of this on BookTube yesterday. Didn't watch it all because he went into spoilers, but it's a small book. I really look forward to reading it. Hopefully get to it this week. Next up, still in Palestine, is Susan Abulhawa's Against the Loveless World. This was the winner Palestine Book Awards 10th Anniversary 2020 Creative Award, Aspen Words Literary Prize finalist. Nar shares her life story from an Israeli solitary confinement cell. As a young woman, she dreamed of marriage and modern appliances, but found herself a jilted bride, struggling with displacement, refugeehood, abandonment, and sexual exploitation. A foul-mouthed critic and passionate dancer, Nar finally returns to Palestine, where she's transformed by the power of her roots, literature, and love. There she reemerges a radical political thinker who risks everything to reunite her family with their native land. Written with Susan Abulhawa's richly detailed, beautiful, and resonant prose, this powerful novel presents a searing and unique portrait of a woman who refuses to live with shame or be anyone's victim. Starts with a glossary. I kind of wish it had ended with the glossary. Anywho. That's it. So I apologize. I'm really muted today. Like I said, I'm suffering from a bad cold and it just won't quit. And I stayed out of work and worked from home 3 days last week. And I have to go in on Monday. Okay. Next up, The Stationery Shop. This one is set in Tehran. And I want to read this one too, also really soon. Roya, a dreamy, idealistic teenager living amid the political upheaval of 1953 Tehran, finds a literary oasis in kindly Mr. Fakhri's neighborhood stationery shop. Stocked with books and pens and bottles of jewel-colored ink. Then, Mr. Fakhri, with a keen instinct for a budding romance, introduces her to his other favorite customer, handsome Bahman, who has a burning passion for justice and a love for Rumi's poetry, and Roya loses her heart at once. Their relationship blossoms, and the little stationery shop remains their favorite place in all of Tehran. A few short months later, on the eve of their marriage, Roya agrees to meet Bahman at the town square, but suddenly violence erupts, a result of the coup that forever changes their country's future. In the chaos, Bahman never shows. For weeks, Roya tries desperately to contact him, but her efforts are fruitless. Reluctantly, she moves on, to college in California, to another man, to a life in New England, until a chance encounter nearly 60 years later gives her the opportunity to ask him the questions that have haunted her for more than half a century. Why did you leave? Where did you go? How is it that you were able to forget me? Man, I want to read that one soon, too. Maybe even before the Book of Disappearance. Okay, final book. And I did not realize, so a lot of times when I'll order online, pick up in store at Barnes & Noble. Because I usually know where or because I don't want to have to, I want them to get it for me and not me have to look. I went and searched for these books. One of these was out of order. It was just in the wrong place. This one, though, was YA, and I did not realize it. No problem with YA. Until I had exhausted every other place I thought it would be. And this is As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow by Zulfa Katu. This is set in Syria. Salama Kassab was a pharmacy student when the cries for freedom broke out in Syria. Now, Salama volunteers at a hospital in Homs, helping the wounded who fled through the doors daily. Secretly, she's desperate to find a way out of her beloved country. So desperate that she's manifested a physical embodiment of her fear in the form of her imagined companion, Khauf. But even with Khauf pressing her to leave, Salama is torn between loyalty to her country and her conviction to survive. And when she crosses paths with the boy she was supposed to meet one fateful day, she starts to doubt her resolve in leaving home at all. Soon, Salama must learn to see the events around her for what they truly are, not a war, but a revolution, and decide how she, too, will cry for Syria's freedom. When was this published? (2022). Paperback, March 2024. Anywho, I look forward to getting to that one too. Again, I apologize. I'm just suffering. And to make matters worse, the pollen count this weekend is very high. So we've got that yellow stuff all over my back porch, all over my car. And so now I can't tell what's cold and what's allergies. So anyway, sorry for the short video, like I said, but this cold's kicking my ass. Anywho, if you've read any of these books, I'd love to hear from you down in the comments below. I do try to answer all the comments. And if you've stuck with me this far, as always, thank you for sticking with me on my journey, and happy reading.